Buddy, this is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. Welcome here to the Raiders facility. Tomorrow, the San Francisco 49ers will be here. Um, Really good practice today for the Raiders. We're going to talk about there's several new position battles that are emerging. There's a rookie who's rising. And we're going to get into all of that today, but it's going to be, I think you're going to really like today's podcast. I just want to start with the speed of the game and of practice. Um, it Here we are, we're more than halfway through training camp, and the speed just got faster today, which was really surprising to me. Now that does a lot of different things. First of all, they're getting the ball out quick. What's that do? It eliminates, opportunities for a pass rush. Doesn't mean that there isn't times where they're doing five-step drops, but they're getting the ball out quick, getting the ball to the running back quick, getting up quick to the line of scrimmage. Now, what's that do? Well, that allows the quarterback to have even more time, and the rest of the team, the offensive line, Jordan Meredith, a young center, to be able to look, adjust, read the defense before the Raiders make all of their adjustments. But the speed was definitely picked up today. I noticed it. And in fact, I mentioned it to one of my colleagues, and he agreed. He noticed it as well. Couple things I want to talk about. I've got some position battles, obviously, but I did my projected 53-man roster the other day, and I had Greedy Vance making it at that time. But I talked about he was being pushed. I'm going to tell you, Caillou Blue now, the last 2 days has really made a push in this camp. If I had to guess after today, because I thought they were super close going into, I think it was Monday when I did my 53. I think Caillou and him, it would be an either or situation. And I think Caillou's close to moving him down the depth chart and Caillou taking two, which would then put Greedy on the practice squad. But that's a battle. Caillou is playing super well. I thought yesterday was his best practice that he ever had until today. And then today, I think there were several plays that he made where the ball didn't even get thrown in his direction just because he had such great coverage. I thought he was tremendous today. I am going to give the youngster some credit because one thing that he did today that I have not seen him do, like he did, I've seen him do it, but just not like he did today, is he flipped his hips. And if you're wondering what that, I mean, it's a change of direction. I'm a big person, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, big guys. You don't see flipping your hips very often. When you do, it is a rare thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when you usually will see it in guys that aren't as mammoth, but he flips his hips so quick. Talking about Caillou Blue, it was today. I took a double take. It was really interesting to me. I don't think that the Cameron Richardson, who started strong, is playing bad at all. I do think, though, that he's dropping a little bit, and not because he's playing bad. It's just others are playing really well. It's why you want competition. Because, I've seen situations, like I'll give you an example at Raiders tight end this year. Okay. Carter Runyon and Kadir Ismail are NFL tight ends. That if they're able to, the Raiders would probably like to keep both on the practice squad. Okay. Don't think that's possible, but they're both NFL tight ends. So somebody there, those two are probably going to not make the 53-man, and it is not because they had a bad camp. And it's the same situation here. DCAM has fallen a little bit because he's getting outplayed, but it's not because he's playing bad. But again, Caillou Blue making a move on Greedy Vance, and really making a a big sign. Darian Porter continues to shine, just continues to shine. Him and Eric Stokes are two really, really good corners. But Darian Porter, there's just something special about that young man. He's got an opportunity to be really, really special. I've been around this a long time, as you know, 30 years. And there are corners that you see and you're like, yeah, they're a corner. Then there are guys you see and they just flash. I'm going to take you back and use an example. You remember when IPM first got here, I told everybody he's not a 53-man guy, but he just flashes something special. I think he's something special. Foul that with, then I told you last year, I think you're going to see him really emerge. He did. I think he's not this year, but I think next year IPM moves into a all pro type of player. Um, Darian is a guy that is very special. I think he's clearly a starter on this team, which for a rookie is a very big deal. He's not as far back as where IPM was. Obviously, IPM's a safety, but still a defensive back. He's not as far back, doesn't have as far to go, but his ceiling looks really high. And I found that to be very interesting. Let's talk about a rookie rising. Let's talk about a rookie making a move. That's Jack Bash. Now, I think right now the three starting wide receivers are locked in. Absolutely locked in. Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker, and Jacoby Myers. But Besh is making a move. Got a lot of reps today with the ones. Played extremely well. Multiple big catches and big plays. Looked phenomenal. In fact, I think he's looked good all of the off OTAs, mini camps, and training camp. I think he's looked good. Today was the first day he looked like Jack Besh from back in college. He just something clicked in him today. Just big plays with the ball, without the ball. Just he had a terrific block. Again, big day for Jack Besh. I think he's making a move. I think I'm just going to say this, and because I don't know who he's going to replace. I mean, Jacoby, most underrated player in the NFL. Trey Tucker, who I'm going to talk about in a minute. Dante Thornton looks great. But Jack Besh, at some point, I mean, he's going to push for a starter's role in this team. And I thought he would. You may remember when I did my projection before camp, I had him being a starter ahead of Dante. But Dante played so well early that he moved ahead of him. I can tell you, I don't think Dante's playing bad at all, but it's kind of a situation like Caillou and Greedy that Jack right now is playing a little bit, is stepping up his game and catching up to Dante. It's going to be really interesting to watch. But they're both so talented and so good. Those are interesting position battles to keep an eye on. The other one I want to talk about was Alex Bachman. Now, y'all know I have talked with you at length about Alex, and he just continues to make amazing plays. He just continues to do amazing work. He just continues every single day. He makes a play, and you're like, ooh, that's Bachman. But I want to talk to you about a different player, and I'm checking something real quick. So I'm not ignoring you, obviously. I'm doing the podcast, but I want to talk to you about a particular player, and I want to check one of his stats because Bachman is getting pushed now. And this is an interesting angle that I like. And let me just say real quick, Bachman is getting pushed, and he's only getting pushed because this person is stepping up his game. It has nothing to do. I mean, Bachman today, several big plays, but this is why you want a camp where everybody competes. This is why you want a camp where everybody's fighting. So Alex is being pushed by Colin Johnson now, the kid, the Texas Longhorn. Colin got some reps with ones today too. In fact, you saw Bachman, um, Trey Tucker, and Colin all get and Besh all got reps with the ones today. So Colin is really making some interesting plays. He made some big ones today. Um, and so he's a little bit different than Bachman. And so he would give, if he beats out Bachman, he gives the Raiders a little bit a different ingredient in the ragu. And so he's very interesting. But there's a battle now. I have not thought after once I've said to you I thought Colin made the 53 or was on the 53 at that point in camp. I had not seen Colin in these last 2 days. He is very much competing and fighting. Um, I think if camp ended today, which clearly it doesn't, Bachman makes it. But man, I think they're close. Just like I think Caillou's moved a little bit ahead of Greedy. I think Bachman is still ahead, but I mean by the hair of his chin, and it's close. It's really, really close. And but these are some really interesting battles that are going on ahead of us. I've got to tell you, a guy that is having a phenomenal camp is Trey Tucker. Now, I have talked to you ad nauseum last year several times after games where he's open, he's past the safeties, the ball's thrown, but it's short. Then he has to go back. It gets intercepted, gets knocked down, whatever. It wasn't on Trey. And you may remember the day the Raiders signed Geno, I said to you, you're not going to have to deal with a situation now where you got guys open deep and they can't get him the football. Trey had a touchdown today, a 70-yard touchdown from Geno. And I'm going to guess the ball was in the air 60 yards maybe of it. But he's in full stride, gets wide open, beats the safeties, and no stopping the ball, just gently, like delivered like a newborn baby, just bam into his hands, catches it in stride, walks in for the touchdown. Geno is just putting the ball on the money, just bam, and delivering it. I'm going to tell you this. I thought Geno was a good quarterback. I've told you all along. I think he's 10 to 15 in the league. I had no clue how good his touch was. I mean, touch, just his. I mean, there the ball's in the air 60 yards, and he just floats it. And I mean, Trey didn't even think about stopping. He was just, oh. He had another throw today to Besh where the throw was outstanding. And then Besh stops on a dime, gives the defender 9 cents change, pivots, and gone. Just, it was a very good day for the offense. I want to talk about Brock Bowers. He looks leaner to me. He was never fat, but he looks smaller. And then I had one of my colleagues mention today that to me after I had said that to someone else, does he look like he's leaner, skinnier? And I just said it. Brock today and Michael Mayer, they looked like twins. I mean, Mayer's bigger, but they just both had outstanding practices. Both of them, I would call today's practice flawless. The entire thing was flawless. They just both playing at such a high level. And again, it's opening up avenues for the Raiders. Remember, I have to be careful. I can't share with you schematic stuff, but they're installing new stuff every single day. So I want to go back and remind you. So someone, part of the staff at Ohio State told me about Chip Kelly is, he had 150 plays. but a minimum of 5 different plays out of every set, and some of them as many as 10. And then each week he may add 25 plays. And so by the end of the year, and so if there's 25 plays and each have 5, you're adding 125 plays a game in the NFL, and it's a 17-game season. So now you're literally looking at close to 3,000 plays in an NFL year. And so watching the creativity, again, there was some really good creativity today that we will not be seeing tomorrow when the 49ers are here, because they don't want the 49ers sharing it with other teams. But there's a lot of creativity. Raider Nation, grab your popcorn. To quote Terrell Owens, just get your popcorn. There is a lot of creativity here, and it's really interesting to watch. Just to watch the way that Chip Kelly is using every single weapon. Again, Colin Johnson got some reps with the ones today. Looked phenomenal, and there was a new wrinkle for him, just for his skill set. So it was really, really good. I want to talk about another player, and the battle at safety. Terrell Edmunds is doing some things, and Terrell Edmunds is making. He's just flashing a little bit. Now, obviously, y'all know who he is. I mean, he's the newest Raider, so it's not like he's been here a long time. But he is a guy that I'm expecting to make a very big push for a roster spot. I don't think it's a given at all. But I have consistently told you that I thought Harper was going to make it and would be the fourth safety. I'm not so sure about that right now. There is a real battle going on at the safety position. There's a real fight going on at the safety position. And again, it goes back to what Pete wanted. Pete wants that competition. And so you're seeing it. So guys here's how competition looks like. Okay, you do good. If you're a 2 going against a 2, they're going to rise you up and let you go against some 1. What do you do when the level of competition's up? Remember, it's not just what you do with the guy behind you, it's what you do with the guy in front of you. And I'm going to tell you, I thought safety would be competitive. I had no clue that it would be as competitive. And if someone were to ask me, do you think Thomas Harper is playing bad? No, I don't. I don't think he's playing bad at all. And I think he's got some advantages. He's a younger player. So I think if Edmunds is going to beat him, he's going to have to really beat him. But it's a battle, and I like it. All right, I want to talk about 2 guys that I thought big games. I mean, big practices today. IPM looked like exactly what you think of IPM. He made a play. He was going step for step down the field in single coverage. And it may have been the single best pass route defense I've ever seen him do. And if you would have told me on paper, I would have thought this is the route. Here's the guy he's going to be defending. What happens? I would have told you he would have been caught. Not even close. And phenomenal the way he's playing right now. But Chris Smith, he had 3 big plays today. Again, creating, moving people. He has a great ability to Steph Curry, as you know, the great Golden State Warrior. One of Steph's ability is it's to create his own shot. Now you may say, how's that work with Chris Smith? He's a defensive player. He is able to create separation without using his hands. So he creates an opportunity for himself. He is really playing like the Chris Smith that without him, Georgia for sure wouldn't have won one national title. And I think the second one they wouldn't have won either. But you can definitely for sure say one. He's playing like that guy. And IPM and Chris are playing tremendously well. The last guy I want to talk about, and I really appreciate, I got several of you have emailed questions about competition. And I want to talk about, I mentioned on the podcast a few weeks ago or a few days ago, sorry, it's all blending together, about Alex, who even though he's been around 9 years, he only has 2 years of, because he's been on a lot of practice squads. So even though he's older, he's younger in NFL time. So he comes cheaper than an older veteran. But someone asked me, well, how's that work with competition? So you see Alex and Colin going at it every day, every single day, and all the receivers are. But I want to make one point really clear. When you're building the roster, okay, Besh, Thornton, Jacoby, Trey, settled. They're your guys. They are your guys. Those are your four primary receivers. And if nobody gets hurt, number 5 doesn't matter. He's going to play special teams, but it doesn't matter as far as at the wide receiver position. Tommy Millott is a guy that he's not ready, okay? But what he is incredibly talented and just has Julian Edelman skills. And so when you say you want competition in the best player, if you start looking at number 5 at wide receiver, then what also has to enter into the question is, okay, not who won it. Maybe Bachman wins it or Colin wins it. But are we really going to need number 5 if nobody gets injured? And if not, who offers the most potential long term? And when you look at Colin and Bachman and Tommy, I think Tommy is that guy. So it's all going to depend on what Pete and Spytek think. But I'm just telling you all that because, yes, it's competition, but it's also one eye on the future. And listen, this is not a Super Bowl team, and I know a lot of you disagree with that, but I live in Realville. But when you know that's what there are times you are one guy away, and we're one guy away. And so you'll give up whatever you got to get rid of. You'll give up. It's like you'll see it in baseball. A team has a chance. They think they're a closer. They think they're a starting pitcher. They think they're a first baseman with a big bat away from winning a World Series. So they'll go and trade. I told you a story before. The Detroit Tigers, when I was younger, they traded Johnny Smoltz, and who was a promising minor leaguer, and some other guys to go get Dole Alexander, a starting pitcher who they thought would win them a World Series. And so there are times you're willing to trade away the future for now. And then there are times that you have to ask yourself a question, am I willing to trade away or move away from now for the future? And so I just think it's important when we're talking about this Colin Johnson, Alex Bachman, and battle that you keep Millott in your mind there. Just keep it there. I'm going to end today's podcast with a very major prediction, a big one. I am not a fantasy football player, but if you are, get Trey Tucker. I'm not going to get into any schematics. Just get Trey Tucker. Thank me later. That young man is going to be the breakout player of the year for the Raiders. He is going, and there's a lot of guys that are going to have good years. Trey Tucker is fixing to take off. Almost like Trey Tucker. Write it down. You can do it. put your back into it. Make that pick. Get you some Trey Tucker. That young man's going to have a special year. And when the season's over, you've heard about quarterbacks buying their offensive lineman a present. Yeah. Trey's going to owe Gino a present. Write it down. See you tomorrow. Joint practices. Niners in town tomorrow. Going to be great. God bless you, everybody.